Rell cannot kill Blox fruits, and let me tell you why. So this topic has actually been on my mind for a while now, and I recently did see a video from SwiftDFG. It was his title that I actually saw, and it kind of inspired me to talk about this myself, so credit to him for that. But this topic that I want to talk about actually is going to be Rell versus Blox fruits, and why I personally feel like Rell would not be able to take down Blox fruits. Now, to give you a brief summary on both of the games, Blox Fruits is currently the biggest One Piece game on Roblox, probably the biggest game on Roblox itself, and it's simply a One Piece game that just follows the format of, you're able to find devil fruits, you can go from island to island, and you just get to fight multiple NPCs. Rell is an upcoming Roblox One Piece game that's actually going to be new, and this game is going to be following a format where adventuring and exploration are just going to be some of the main things that you have to do inside this game. So far for the game, we've just been getting sneaks for it, and from what I'm seeing, things actually look good. But the reason as to why I'm comparing them today is because I really do feel like Rell won't be able to take down Blox Fruits. And the Rell brothers themselves, they actually stated that they want to make a change and try to take down Blox Fruits, which is honestly, it's a pretty big step and thing to try and do, because Blox Fruits has 600,000 players at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night, and this is just on a Saturday night. Blox Fruits has touched 1 million players multiple times before, and it actually is known as a staple inside the community. It's just known as a game on Roblox. It's huge. And I feel like the only way to break this down would actually be to talk about the formulas for each game and why it's different for each game, and why this is actually going to play a big factor inside how each game is going to be performing on the platform. So I might as well start off with the Blox Fruits formula since it's much easier. But Blox Fruits, it's simply going to be following the formula of, it's kind of like a linear progression where you're able to simply beat up a certain group of NPCs, which could be bandits, and while you're beating those NPCs, you simply go from a different island to island, changing your scenery and just getting a breath of fresh air is what I would call it, because it's a good way to keep people continuously playing. But not only that, since this actually is an anime game based on One Piece, there is aspects from the show taken and put into side Blox Fruits, and the biggest aspect would actually have to be Devil Fruits itself. Devil Fruits is the most important thing in Blox Fruits, and it's probably the reason why people play so much, because the fruits are cool and they're actually really easy to get. But Blox Fruits progression, it's very linear. You just simply fight whichever NPCs you have to inside the moment to progress and increase your level, and eventually you just keep doing that until you're max level. That's pretty much Blox Fruits progression. It's just a linear, straight progression that you just bandit beat all the way till the very end. As for Rell though, the progression that we're actually told we're going to be getting is actually going to be one that's more focused on adventure and exploration. So what this means is that there is really no set path inside your progression. I think the perfect way to picture this would kind of be to compare it to another open world game that you can play. For example, I'll just say Minecraft, there is a progression and there is an end goal in it. It's just that to reach that end goal, you don't have to follow some certain paved road out. You can go out and pave your own road. So what I'm basically trying to say with Rell is that you can do anything you want. We're told that we're actually going to be able to explore multiple islands, so we'll be exploring islands to progress, probably be adventuring around, going to prisons, volcanoes, museums, even ships inside Rell. The main point of progression for Rell is going to be the exploration and adventure, which means that you're probably still going to be fighting NPCs because it's a part of a game that you need to have inside, I would say, any game that's going to be an open world RPG, but it's not going to be a bandit beater where you have to fight the NPCs to progress. It's more so like it's going to be an option and probably needed in some spaces, but it's not the only option to progress. And why this matters is actually because it's going to kind of correlate back into why people would want to play the game. And they want to play the game so that they can like the video. Yeah, that was probably like a really bad attempt at asking for like, but you know what I mean. Just like the video. It's a YouTuber thing. I literally have to do it. Back to the topic though, this progression system is actually going to play a big part as to why I feel like Rell won't be able to top over the king of Roblox right now, which is Blox Fruits, and that's mainly just because of the progression. And I feel like the perfect example of this would be to compare it to a game that released before. Now, the game that I'm comparing this to was actually GPO when it had its free release. GPO and Rell are going to be two completely different things, like two completely different games. They're not going to follow the same progression. However, it's just that GPO was hyped up to be a Blox Fruits killer when it actually did drop its free release. And during the free release for GPO, a lot of players from Blox Fruits actually did come and try out the game. It's just that it was terrible because Blox Fruits' main player base is actually kids, and the only way to capitalize off kids would actually be to give them what they want very easily. So the problem that they had when they came into GPO was that there is no fruit dealer. So what did they do? They would simply grind the bandits because that's what they're used to. They would grind the bandits after a while and they would wonder, how do I get a devil fruit? But once they realized that they can't just buy it for a certain amount of cash, they were like, oh, okay, that's enough for that now, and they simply left. And I feel like a lot of people felt like GPO was going to kill Blox Fruits because of the graphics, which is probably the best thing from GPO, and it literally was proven to us that it can't do that. So for LCs to actually kill Blox Fruits, you can't just rely on the graphics alone. You can't say LCs looks better right now, and I feel like it's really good to always have nice graphics inside your game. It's just that that's not going to be enough to actually beat Blox Fruits. The main thing that you're probably going to need is just a way so that it can be easy access to the most important part of a One Piece anime game, which would be the devil. For people who play Blox Fruits, and if you play Blox Fruits inside the comments, you can even vouch for me, but the people who play Blox Fruits, I feel like the main thing that they like about the game is probably how easy it is to get the devil fruits that you actually want and want to play with. Let's say you was watching One Piece and you got up to the Cold Cake Island arc and you see Katakuri and Luffy fighting, and you're like, yo, it would be really cool if I could use Mochi inside of a One Piece game. You go on Blox Fruits and you're able to get yourself a Mochi. You got exactly what you wanted, that Mochi fruit, and you're actually able to use it very easily. However, for LCs, and this is just an assumption, but I do think that finding fruits is just going to be way harder, and you're not going to be able to just walk up to a guy and buy it. And the main reason as to why I can say this is because if they're going to be rewarding us off adventure and exploration, where is the adventure and exploration when it comes to finding fruits? You're not going to have to search through 13 islands to find the fruit dealer hiding inside of a tree. It's just, it sounds very unrealistic for LCs, because if this game's not even following the main form of progression as Blox Fruits, then you can already tell that it's not going to be as easy access to get what people want, which is going to be the devil fruits. And I do feel like this is probably the main takeaway as to why this game won't be able to actually beat Blox Fruits or just kill it off, mainly because the Blox Fruits main player base is just kids. The older anime community, which I feel like is a majority of the people who watch my videos and things like that, we're not playing Blox Fruits because we want something that's actually fun and pays off for our time that's actually being put into these games. And when Rell is telling us that we're going to get rewarded for exploring and actually playing the game, it just sounds much better to us, and it's something we personally would want over just being able to instantly find the fruit that we want or use, because we understand that it's better to actually, I guess, work for these things, because it does feel like you have more payoff inside the end. And I hope that you're actually understanding my point. To sum it up, I just really don't feel like Rell will be able to capitalize off the market that Blox Fruits is selling to, which is going to be kids. Like the Rell brothers have stated, this game is going to be mainly adventure and exploration based, which means we will literally have to be playing the game to actually progress inside the game. It doesn't follow the linear path of having to beat up a certain group of NPCs to get to the end goal, which is, I don't even know what it is, but it doesn't follow that linear path, which is why it's going to be different. And I feel like any game that's not going to be following the path that Blox Fruits set just wouldn't be able to capitalize off the same market as Blox Fruits, because kids aren't going to be playing these games where you have to think harder to do a certain thing. They're really just not. Oh, and another way I can actually see the Rell brothers killing off Blox Fruits is if you like this video, it comes back to you. You're the star, and the only way for the star to shine is by clicking it one button at a time and making it brighter. I'm getting more creative with this, but honestly, let me know what you think about this video and your thoughts on it. I like I said before, I feel like that's the only way, and I actually I don't really see any other side to it, but I could be wrong. Look, there could be a genius inside the comments, so if there is, or if you have any thoughts yourself, feel free to let me know, because I actually do read the comments. And thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it.